Every year, a high-profile entertainment industry figure is selected by Outfest to receive its, what? to receive its Visionary Award, which is bestowed upon an individual for his or her creative contribution and commitment to the LGBT community and its cinema. 2010's Man of the Hour is my friend, writer, director, producer, Roland Emmerich. Universal Soldier, Stargate, Independence Day, Godzilla, The Patriot, The Day After Tomorrow, 10,000 BC, 2012. Blockbusters all, and all brought to us by this accomplished German-born filmmaker who long ago chose to make Hollywood his home. Now, why, you may ask, is this master of the disaster and action genres being honored by Outfest and the Legacy Awards? It may be true that Emmerich's films have grossed more than $3 billion worldwide. That's right. More than any other European director, and that his billion-dollar gross in the United States alone makes him this country's 14th highest grossing filmmaker of all time. But, I mean, doesn't this guy just spend his every waking hour blowing stuff up and terrorizing all of humanity and obliterating the world as we know it? Well, yes. And if you don't believe me, just wait till you see his reel. But, that's just Roland's day job. In his real life, there's a gentle yin to his fiery yang. Fiery yang. Congratulations. Professionally, Emmerich may be devoted to destruction, but personally, he's all about salvation. For years, he has generously supported organizations that work on behalf of a greener environment, women's rights in developing countries, educators teaching tolerance, and the care and treatment of people with HIV/AIDS. Outfest in general, and the Legacy Project in particular, have also long held a special place in his heart. The Legacy Project would be a very different animal were it not for his quite considerable gifts. I'm not saying a dollar amount, but considerable. Considerable. Pens are under your seats. As if all this weren't enough to make Roland worthy of tonight's tribute, he's also been out loud and proud from the very beginning of his career in Europe. And we're not talking about a filmmaker of chick flick, weepy dramas or romantic comedies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We're talking about being openly gay in the macho, testosterone-fueled world of explode everything up to kingdom come. That, my friends, takes true bravery. Roland's even been ballsy enough to call Hollywood on its rampant, shameful, and hypocritical homophobia. Would that all of this town's out, not so out, and straight powers that be exhibit such integrity. Just say. To the stage, the quite deserving recipient of the 2010 Outfest Legacy Project Visionary Award, writer, director, producer extraordinaire, Mr. Roland Emmerich.
Thank you, Jeff. I was really, truly honored that you came out on this rainy night to give me this award. You have to know, like, Jeff is one of the truly exceptional actors, but what very little people know, he's one of the true exceptional human beings on this planet. And I really thank you for that. because I mean, we all work in this business, and it's very rare to like kind of have people like Jeff Goldblum like kind of being in your movie. So that said, you know, I was like kind of told I have to give an acceptance speech. You know, I'm not the big, you know, guys who hold speeches. You know, my friends know that, and I'm always like, you know, my cousin Andrea said, just take a deep breath. You know, I got all kinds of different, you know. Another guy said like, you know, just you know, like kind of don't mention Sarah Palin for some odd reason. And she's my favorite. And so then, you know, on top of it, you know, I just today, because I'm a, you know, I'm like kind of preparing another movie, I'm just like read the speeches of the recipients the two recipients who got this award before me. And they were like awesome speeches, you know, and I had to kind of say, oh my God, should I, which of the speech I could rebuff, you know, like Bruce Cohen, I mean, he was like, wow. You know, so I salute the recipients who got this award before me. You know, I think they were much more deserving than I was, and you know, and I have to kind of say, you know, I kind of asked actually the person, you know, who like kind of, you know, in a weird way came to me to introduce the Legacy Project to me, you know, Stephen Goodwillig, and he's like a, you know, a friend in a way because I know his stepmom. And he came to me and I said, like, Roland, I have this idea to preserve, you know, like early gay movies. And I said, you know, I immediately realized this is a really, really good idea. And before I kind of like got this award, I kind of actually said, like, I have to talk to Steven. He has to tell me what I have to say. And he kind of said, you know, just be yourself, you know, and tell everybody why you did it. And, you know, because a lot of people, you know, who know me, you know that I'm not only my movies, you know, a lot about destruction and, you know, and mayhem, but, you know, I'm actually a quite, you know, loving person. And, and so he said, so just tell the people, you know, why, you know, did this. And I said, well, let me think about it. And I kind of thought really about it. And then I realized all of a sudden, you know, this is a quite, you know, like kind of a story pretty much like kind of, which is very, very common. There's a boy who's in Germany, you know, who grew up in a very conservative but loving, you know, house and a family in a very provincial town, you know. I was gay. And it was like kind of changed everything from the very beginning. And I was like just always afraid. The whole first, you know, years, I was always afraid to be myself. And then I kind of realized all of a sudden I can give back, you know, because I became successful, you know, with totally other stuff. But, you know, I could give back, you know, because what I realized, you know, through my whole life, you know, that it's actually about, you know, people who like role models. And what are the best first role models, you know, because these guys who like kind of, you know, like portrayed in these films were the guys, you know, who like fought for this, what we have today. And, you know, when we didn't preserve it, you know, it will be lost. So this is actually, you know, for me, you know, like kind of how I can give back, you know, the people who really deserve to be remembered. Because they were the guys, you know, who really, really did what me, for example, didn't have the guts to do. So that's like kind of my thank you, you know, to that. And then, you know, I want to actually personally thank a couple of people who are in the audience today. And it's like kind of very random because there are a lot of them, you know, and, you know, but I kind of, for example, you know, saw like, you know, Dean Devlin today. Jeff knows him very well. He's like, was my partner and my friend, and is still my friend. And, you know, when I came out to him, he said, oh, that's great. You know, it's so good for you. You know, that's like sometimes these very simple things, you know, which just, you know, like, you know, help you on the way. So, and then two people I really want to give a very, very special thanks, you know. One is my sister, Ute. She's the rock in my life, both professional and private. And Ute, without you, I would be not here. And then I want to give a very special thank, you know, to Omar, my boyfriend. He's the rock of my life. And maybe it sounds cheesy, you know, but without him, I would also be not here. So, and then one last thing, you know, which I always like kind of think is like kind of really, really shocking sometimes. You know, you always like think, you know, the gay community has made it. You know, we're like kind of, and you know, there's so many things we have accomplished. And then all of a sudden, you know, there are these gay teen suicides, which like kind of bring you back down, you know, to what's really the problem. And the problem is really that we like have still a very, very long, you know, way ahead of us. And I think you can contribute this, you know, to kind of donate you like money, you know, to like organizations like Outfest, you know. And so I think like Outfest is an amazing organization, you know, and it's kind of run by like kind of amazing people, which I really, really have to thank for all their hard work. And Kirsten and Steven, you're like amazing people. Thank you very much.